So Frieza finally did something. Dragon Ball Super episode 108. This was a pretty okay episode of Dragon Ball Super. Yes, Frieza was pretty awesome, but at the same time, I feel like the power gap between Frieza and Frost is so wide that you really don't have to go through the theatrics of like, I'm gonna pretend to beat up Gohan and then, fucking teach this guy how to go buff and make him let his guard down and then just blast him out of the ring real quick before he has a chance to react. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, I mean, maybe if the goal was to humiliate him and get a few shots in at Gohan, even if it's fucking just fucking around. Like, I don't know, Frieza's a weird dude. I don't know what he's thinking, and I do like that part. He's keeping everybody guessing, and he's keeping everybody freaked out on what he's going to do, and that could be a part of his plan. But I feel like the power gap between him and Frost is so wide that there's just no reason to have him. You know, he could easily just beat Frost in a fight and knock him out of the ring with no effort. Seeing him fuck over the Yard Rat dude was fucking awesome, though. That was classic, like, vintage Frieza torture right there, and that was really fun. He pulls out just a straight up Rocky IV Ivan Drago, just if he dies, like, throws him out of the ring, like, super cool, love that. But yeah, the whole thing. I mean, I even like him, kind of in an unconventional way, sort of teaming up with Gohan. We kind of had that last week too, like an unconventional team up between Roshi and Vegeta. That makes a bit more sense than Frieza and Gohan. That's what made this a bit more interesting. But yeah, it was okay. It's an okay episode. The visuals are really nothing to talk about, honestly. It's a probably mostly solo animated episode by Yoshitaka Yushima. Yeah, I think he was a supervisor this week. I think I saw his art style a couple times. Maybe he was just a key animator, because, well, then again, they do want to correct him a lot, because he doesn't have the most appealing art style. Being a solo animator, you kind of have to rush through things at times, so it would make sense to actually correct him a lot. Regardless, though, it's not that pretty of an episode. It's not, like, ugly or anything, but there's really nothing standout about the animation this week. I'm trying to remember. I know there's, like, the Ribrianne beam attack, but that was reused. Frieza's transformation, which was reused, and I'm totally okay with, because that's a great transformation sequence. They reused a couple other scenes. I thought we were finally done with this in the tournament, but after an episode like last week and coming up on what we have next week based on the preview, it's understandable to have another episode with a bit more bank animation, but they used it okay, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode, though, and Frost does get eliminated, and then the big part of the episode is then when he gets erased, because he's about to fire a blast at Frieza, because he's salty as fuck, and maybe almost as salty as the Vegeta fans would have been, and Zeno just erases him on the spot. Grand Priest doesn't say anything, Zeno does it himself. That caught me off guard. That's a little bit scary, but it was still a very surprising turn in the episode. I didn't expect that to happen, and it was really fucking cool. My only other issue with this episode is kind of like Gohan versus the Yardrat guy. Like, I understand the Yardrat guy is probably pretty fucking strong. I think Goku was in Super Saiyan when they were first fighting each other. So I can understand, like, if this guy's powerful, but still Gohan looked like a bit of a bitch in this episode. I mean, I get it, dude's coming into his blind spots, using strategy, but I really feel like Gohan could have... I feel like Gohan's smarter than that, you know what I mean? Like, I understand, Frieza showing up, and Frieza evil, is he going to let the fight happen, changing his mind? I mean, maybe Frieza teaming up with Frost and doing all these theatrics with Gohan and then teaching Frost how to go buff, but then blasting him out. Like, maybe he really is trying to keep everybody guessing, because he's definitely keeping me guessing. But getting back to the Yardrat dude versus Gohan, I mean, Gohan was, getting blindsided. I mean, he's probably not used to fighting someone with instant transmission. He hasn't really... I don't know, he has fought Goku after learning it, but I guess Goku's never really taught him how to fight someone with that. I mean, they don't really do that, you know what I mean? They don't really, like, Goku doesn't teach everybody instant transmission or everybody the Kaioken or Spirit Bomb. They don't really, like, fight like that. Like, they spar and they train and they get stronger, but they don't really share techniques or share strategies that much, which is just one of those things that, I guess I can understand, like, honor as a martial artist or whatever, but, unless you learned it from your sensei, like Master Roshi teaching the Kamehameha and everything, unless you learned it like that, it's, I don't know. Sometimes they borrow techniques, though, like the fucking solar flare and shit, so, I don't know, whatever. That's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, it was an okay episode. It was solid enough. It was good. I like seeing Frost be an asshole. I like seeing Frieza be unpredictable and awesome, but... yeah, I feel like if the visuals had been stronger in this episode, I probably wouldn't have thought it was just like an okay episode, but the visuals didn't really back it up much. Again, not that it looks bad necessarily, but it's not a great looking episode, so... yeah, in the end, the storyboarding's not super interesting either, so it's And I did actually watch last week's episode right before this one. Another friend of mine that watches Super hadn't seen last week, so we watched last week's and then we watched this one together. And that does, I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why I think this episode looks so bland, is because last week just looked so good storyboarding-wise and so good animation-wise, or at least the animation was really supported and bolstered up by the storyboarding. So, yeah, I don't know. This episode's like a 7.5. It's a good episode of Dragon Ball Super, but nothing incredible. The only other thing I can think to talk about is that Ribrianne has overstayed her welcome, in my opinion. I think she's a funny character, and I like the Magical Girl parody, and the bank animation, and the transformation's funny, and I love seeing the hardcore Dragon Ball fans, get really salty whenever she shows up. But even for me, I think she's overstaying her welcome. She's not really bringing out anything new. Well, next episode with the 1 hour special, it looks like she'll have like this crazy fucking bow and arrow butterfly thing going on, and that's cool. And that had really good animation in the preview. But up until now, she's been bringing nothing new to the table, and I really feel like she could have already been eliminated. Now, again, next week, or not next week, I think we're skipping a week because it's the 1 hour special. It'll air the next week after that. They need as much time as they can on this thing, obviously, because it's going to look really good based on the preview, and that was only the first half. We still have the second half that we're probably not even going to get a preview for because they're airing back-to-back. But anyways, getting back to Ribrianne, I think she's overstayed her welcome. I think she could get eliminated. Again, next episode, doing cool stuff, but I don't know. I feel like this character is already done, and we don't need to have her fighting these characters more and more. She fought 17, she fought Vegeta, she's fought Goku now, and she's just all over the place, and I don't know. I feel like she could have been eliminated, but if the next episode has some really cool stuff, which it looks like it will, and she does get eliminated, then okay, fine. But she overstayed her welcome a bit, in my opinion. I understand that not every fighter is going to get a ton of screen time in this tournament. There's going to be some guys that are just there to get knocked out of the ring or make someone else look strong. But there were some other fighters that seemed more interesting than her that got eliminated really quickly, and that's annoying in my opinion. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Like I said, the preview looks great. Animation looks really solid. Goku versus Jiren. Hopefully it's going to be super badass. We have a Spirit Bomb in there. That's odd. I mean, who can give that energy? Like, none of the Gods of Destruction are going to give that thing energy because they have a vested interest in Goku dying, more so than anyone else in the tournament. His own allies can give him power, but that's only a handful of people, and it's not like they can give all their power to it to make it really strong because they need to keep fighting. Like, I really do feel like this Goku versus Jiren fight is coming up a little too quick, in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see how things go. Maybe a lot of people will get eliminated in the crossfire if they're fighting. Who knows? It's all kinds of craziness. We still have a lot of Universe 6 fighters, and the Namekians, we haven't seen them do anything. Piccolo hasn't gotten a lot of time to shine. It's just, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that, though. Let's just wrap this review up. What did you guys think of this episode? I'm giving it like a 7.5, 7 out of 10. It's okay. It's good. Good enough. But what did you guys think? Go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. Give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you like what you've seen here. Click the little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.